Wake up, wake up, wake up, and stay woke. Because this is the Ball Hog Sports Talk with your boy, B. Brown, ESQ, a.k.a. the Ball Hog, a.k.a. the Mouth of the South. This is the place where sports, business, and entertainment collide. And we're going to give it to you rough, rugged, and raw. So come get you a spoonful, like some grits with butter and salt. You know how we do it in the South, y'all. Make sure you do not get caught in your feelings. Strap on your seatbelt and enjoy the ride. Come on, let's go. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to let's go. What up, y'all? It's the Ball Hog Sports Talk with your boy, B. Brown, ESQ, a.k.a. the Ball Hog, a.k.a. the Mouth of the South, a.k.a. Mr. Acceptance Celebration. I am here today on this magical journey on this Friday on Christmas Eve with my girl, the Maverick, Miss Majestic Maya. What's up, Miss Majestic Maya? We don't even have the sound effects today. So we got to create our own sound effects from the commentary that we give. And so I'm looking forward to having a lot of fun today. Make sure I got everything pulled up, because on days like this, today's episode is called Probable Claus. And as you can see, I'm dressed in my Santa Claus outfit. You see what it is, B. Brown ESQ. Don't play with it. And I am Santa Claus, but I'm also the presiding judge at the sports courthouse. We got to talk about some things today that ain't nothing short of controversial. You know what I'm saying? I got to pronounce every syllable in that word, because that's how controversial it's going to be today. We're going to talk about the GOAT. There's some GOAT talk going on up in this thing. And Pandora's box, the can of worms, wasn't opened by me. I'm just an innocent bystander here. What I do is I find the stories, I bring them to the audience. The Ball Hog Sports Talk want to hear about what you're talking about. That's all we do. There was another person that opened this door. He brought up a particular topic, and it is the topic of the greatest of all times, a GOAT wide receiver. And one of the people in that discussion brought up the topic, none other than Randy Moss. And he put himself over somebody named Jerry Rice. It's not too often that two people can go by one name. If I just said Randy, you know who I'm talking about. That's Randy Moss. If I said Jerry, you know I'm talking about Jerry Rice. Rice, Moss, either one could go by just one name, because them are just some bad boys. But only one can be considered the GOAT. And I want to be persuaded, as the presiding judge over this sports court, I want to be persuaded that somehow, some way, Randy Moss was wrong and did not show probable cause, as the Santa Claus judge that I am. That he for some reason, I want to know why his argument is undermined. Why is Jerry Rice the GOAT? Because people have assumed that that's the case. And to find a character witness, I didn't just go anywhere and find anybody. I went to Rand, West Virginia. You know what you got? You got to be willing to do some doggone research if you're going to go to Rand, West Virginia, to find a character witness to talk about why Randy Moss is absolutely the GOAT and has shown probable cause. With no further ado, welcome. You know what it is. We have a missing link, a special guest. My man, 50 grand, Bobby Howard from Rand, West Virginia is in the building. What's up? What's up?
Not much.
How are you, my brother?
I'm good. Hey, Maya. Hey, Bob.
Hey, Bob.
Pleasure to be on the show. I really enjoy it.
So for those of you who don't know about Rand, West Virginia, it's a special place and a special part of West Virginia. It got some special individuals. On one team was not only Randy Moss, but also Jason Williams, that's white chocolate, and my man Bobby A. Howard, who was not only a bad boy at linebacker, but a captain of Notre Dame, went on to play in NFL. That's on one team in Rand, West Virginia. So something special was in the water around that time of the Rand, West Virginia existence, because these three wonderful, wonderful athletes all played together. Bobby Howard, I got a chance to play with, and that's my man. Bobby A. Howard, tell me why Randy Moss making a statement that he is indeed the GOAT. Tell me why he ain't crazy, because I see some comments talking he must be smoking weed and all that. Everybody is assuming that the man is crazy, saying he's the greatest of all times. We're going to start off with just a simple question. Does it make sense to you when he makes that statement that he is indeed the greatest of all time? What say you?
What did you say? You broke up some, Bob. You said
I'm just asking. How do you reply when people say he's crazy to call himself the GOAT? There's no chance of it. What's your response?
Well, first, when you consider the GOAT, it's like splitting hairs. You got two great people that you're talking about right there. But it goes into what you consider the best. Do you consider statistically the best, or do you consider most dangerous? I might be a little biased, but I personally consider the most dangerous the best, and there's never been another deep threat like him.
MDM. So you might not know this, but on the offensive side of the ball, where all the kings and sane people live, not you wild savages over there on the defense, we coined this term when we decide who to block. MDM, most dangerous man, right?
The most
dangerous man. Now I never like blocking that person because that's normally somebody that wants to hit at all costs. That's why they consider the most dangerous man. You consider, from a danger standpoint, Randy Moss was more dangerous than Jerry Rice. Absolutely. What is so what do you think when you compare them side to side? Because a lot of people that are going to go right to the stats and say on paper it's got to be Jerry Rice. What would be your first response to them if they go right to the stats?
Well, anytime you're a receiver, you depend on the quarterback to get you the ball. Jerry Rice played most of his career with two Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Randy played with one, and he lit the league up when that happened. So I think that has a lot to do with it. I'm not taking anything from Jerry Rice. Obviously, he's great. But when you play with quarterbacks of that caliber, they know where to get you the ball, when to get you the ball. They don't miss reads. So you don't leave yards on the field. You don't leave receptions on the field when you play with those guys.
Got it. All right. So I'll ask you this then, because back in the streets of Rand, West Virginia, in the Sandlot, could you tell at an early age that he was special? Because we talk about most dangerous man in the NFL of all time. So could you tell back then that he was on a whole nother level?
Yeah. So I grew up with Randy since he moved to Rand when he was 6. So we went to school from 6 till we graduated. And before
y'all should have went to college. That's a whole nother. Y'all should have went to college together too. He's supposed to go to a whole other topic. That's a different episode. All right. So you known him since he was 6 years old.
Yeah.
And you could tell that he was a freak of nature.
Yeah, I used to win all the races school until he got there. And then that was the last race I ever won. And then, you start playing with him more and more, and you see there's nothing athletically that he can't do. He can play every sport. He's faster than everybody. He jumps higher than everybody. He catches better than everybody. He throws farther than everybody. So he's just always been a great athlete.
So I want to be like that, like Rabbit on 8 Mile. I'm going to be preemptive here. I know what people are going to say. They're going to say that Jerry Rice was a better route runner. He was a better teammate. Let's start with route running. What say you as the character witness on behalf of Randy Moss here in the sports courthouse? What would you say to that argument that Jerry was a better route runner?
Yeah, there's no question about that. Jerry's a better route runner. He was a technician. He ran all the routes. But I mean, just because they said Reggie Miller had bad shooting form because he crossed his arms when he finished. Does that mean Reggie Miller can't shoot?
Right.
I mean, I don't think you can hold that against Randy about the route running. He did it. He did everything in spite of the route running. So what more you want him to do?
They knew he was going to run one route, and he ran it well. It was called "I'm gonna run," and I'm sure y'all used to do this on the streets of Rand, West Virginia. I'm gonna run to that car all the way down there. Randy's like, "I'm gonna run to the pylon, and just try to hit the pylon." That's where I'm running. Look, man, it is amazing to see the career that both of them had, and the GOAT talk, like you said, is like splitting hairs. But I gotta say, man, on the number side, Jerry Rice looks a little better on the number side. And once you come off the air, people ain't gonna be so nice. They being nice in the comment section now. But I've seen all the comments throughout the week. It's gonna be a heavy Jerry Rice gallery. The jury is gonna be swayed towards Jerry Rice. And they all gonna look at the stats. Are there any other factors that you say we should consider? Any other comparisons you would make, any other positions that gives me more of an argument while I can say Randy has shown probable cause?
Yeah, I mean, you can't just go by statistics. Yeah, Jerry has, but statistically speaking, he's the greatest ever. But Emmitt Smith is also the all-time leading rusher. But would you take Emmitt Smith over Barry Sanders? Again,
Not
two
unless
great
you on
backs.
crack. No, I ain't taking.
Yeah,
I ain't taking. I ain't taking. I got you. That's a great comparison.
Wait a second. I have a question. So Randy Moss is saying he's the greatest football player ever or greatest wide receiver?
Wide receiver.
Oh, okay. Because I was about to say
Receiver.
Jim Brown, and I said that in the thread this week. Jim Brown is literally the greatest football player I've ever seen, and he was also the greatest lacrosse player ever too. He literally revolutionized the game. And no,
Randy Moss is just saying the greatest of all times at the receiver position.
He was
look, defensive coordinators didn't sleep at night because of Randy Moss, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if that can be said. I don't know if the same thing is true. It's not as many sleepless nights about Jerry Rice. I'll give you the final word. That's a great comparison. I like that comparison when you talk about whether or not you would take Emmitt Smith over Barry Sanders. No one would do that. I'll give you the final word because I know you got to get out of here. I was a little late this morning. You know, when I say 9, it's kind of a rough estimate. You know me. You know me long enough. And I beat you in Monopoly. I beat you in Monopoly enough, so I used to whoop you in Monopoly. I'm wheeling and dealing, baby. I was wheeling and dealing this morning, so I'm a little late. But you get the final word. Since I was late, I'm giving you the final word. For those who will listen now, for those who will chime in later, give us just the final word. Why has Randy Moss, through his career, through what he showed us on the field, being an athletic freak, being the most dangerous man, I like the way you put that. Why has he given us probable cause that indeed he should be considered the greatest receiver of all times? Last word.
Well, I think you just said it. He is the most dangerous man. He's the biggest deep threat that that the game has ever seen. There was nobody that could really stop him on the deep ball. He only ran a couple routes, and you still couldn't stop it. When he had an opportunity to play with a Hall of Fame quarterback, he almost set some records. So there's no telling what he would have done had he had 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Now he has some good quarterbacks, don't get me wrong. But 2 Hall of Famers, that's the next level.
It is next level. It is next level.
And all that in spite of that, anytime you get a receiver, they roll the coverage.
And you see what Tom Brady.
And he did all of that with people rolling coverage over the top.
Yep. You see what Tom Brady has not been able to do this year, right? And it just points out even more that one year when they were together, it was unbelievable, man. Where is Rand, West Virginia, in relation to the state? Like East, West, South? I mean, they had Rand University, a 30 for 30, which my man Bobby Howard was featured. He was one of the character witnesses in that 30 for 30, Rand University. Tell the people what part of the state is it in before I let you go, because they got to make a trip to Rand. At some point, we all got to be Rand, West Virginia visitors at some point.
No.
South Central.
South Central. You probably made up that. South Central. Ain't that many directions in West Virginia. Not South and Central. Like, come on, get out of here. Look, man. Hey, Bobby Howard, my man, El Capitan, man. Not only a great football player, but a great human being, brother. I appreciate you being my brother. You have made a great case for why Randy Moss, as his character witness, you made a great case for why Randy Moss should be considered the greatest of all time. Make sure you come back again to Ball Hog Sports Talk. Love you, man. Merry Christmas, man. Thanks for coming through, bro.
Bye, Bob.
With that, we're gonna hop in, y'all. And this is gonna be largely dictated by I'm the judge, but all I'm doing is a fact finder. I'm listening to the comments. I'm reading the comments. I'm paying attention to the comments you guys have posted in the thread. I want to know, man, who was the best of all time? Was Randy's statement that indeed he's the greatest of all time? Has he shown probable cause, or was it excessive? Did he go too far? Stay in your lane, dog, or he got a point there? I want y'all to tell me, man, because all I am is a fact finder here. I can look at the stats, right? I got all the stats, but on paper, we've acknowledged that on paper, Jerry Rice looks better on paper. He played for more years. He played for 20 years. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He played with 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks. He was in far more Super Bowls, played in more playoff games. All of that is documented. Okay. I got all of that. I got all of that. That's the boring cybermetrics. I don't want that. I want football fans to tell me why these 2 great football players, why they should be ranked the way that they are ranked. Now, come on. Don't disappoint me, Ball Hog Sports Talk. Let me know what it is, but come with some facts. Come with some meat on the bones. Don't be telling me something that doesn't make sense. I want to know why Jerry Rice or Randy Moss is the greatest of all times. I'll go through these stats statistically, one by one. I'll let you start, Maya. What is your feeling on it? I know you weighed in on this on the thread. I'm going to weigh in on the show. What are your feelings?
I like Randy Moore.
I
love Randy Moore. He just came out a rebel. And I like anything to, buck the system. But Rice on paper, I saw them both play in their their prime time. Moss is the much better athlete. You said, you could put him any fucking way. You could put him on some skates in Minnesota and he could play for the Minnesota Wild and have them win the Stanley Cup championships. But Rice, in addition to the supporting cast, and I wouldn't even say the work ethic, it was just, I have to give it to Rice. I mean, the numbers don't lie. I think he's a shit human being, but Moss is the much better athlete.
Moss is the better athlete, but you would say pound for pound, you give him the award, the greatest of all times, that receiver, you're giving the overall award. The whole kit and caboodle goes to you. It goes to Jerry Rice. And that's very, for you, that's objective, because I know that you don't like his political views, but you would still give it to Jerry.
Him, period. I honestly, one person that's never talked about, and people may laugh me off this thread, but they could go suck on something rotten. I still say the two best wide receivers I've ever seen, Lynn Swann and Art Monk.
No, I mean, no one can laugh at you. Look, I think stylistically it's like who you like the best. For me, stylistically, I like Michael Irvin. I like the playmaker, right? But
he got big ass hands. That's why he never dropped balls. I mean, his hands are like the size of baseball mitts. They're huge.
We ain't gonna say pause right there. Nothing. We just gonna go we're gonna just come on, man. Like it's the sexual.
You know what? It's almost Christmas. Get your mind from under the tree.
You're right.
Okay.
You're right. That was on me. That's what happens, man. Your reputation preceded you. I just knew you was about to go a different way with that. To me, Michael Irvin was the one that I like to watch. Okay.
When he was sober.
He was sober. So he played better when he was high.
I'm not to say when he was coked out, boy, was nothing get past.
But if you look at the supporting cast that Jerry Rice had, because Bobby Howard mentioned it, so let's just talk on a little bit more. All right, he had Joe Montana.
Yeah.
Right. He had obviously he had Steve Young at quarterback, and those are the two people that Bobby Howard was referring to in the Hall of Fame quarterbacks.
Yeah.
All right. You look at some of the other quarterbacks he had. He had Jeff Garcia. He had Rich Gannon. All right, all good quarterbacks in their time. Other wide receivers on the other side, he had John Taylor that he played with, who had a great run. He had Terrell Owens. He had Tim Brown. All right, I wouldn't say Randy Moss ever played with another. Well, he had Chris Carter. That's not true. Randy Moss played with Chris Carter. All right, quarterbacks.
Who's done more for him on and off the field than I think anyone. I think Chris Carter taught him how to be a football player.
And a professional, helped him out tremendously.
Exactly.
But Randy played with Tom Brady, Randall Cunningham, and Dante Culpepper. All good, but I don't think compared to the stature of, Steve Young, Joe Montana, Jeff Garcia, and Rich Gannon, because you got 2 Hall of Famers in there. Whereas with the Ross, I combined. And Moss. With Moss, you only have 1 Hall of Famer. Hall of Famer.
Actually, the year Randy Moss was drafted, the Dolphins were supposed to pick him. So he would have got, he should have been the Miami Dolphin. And even though Marino's last season was 99, come on now. You think Dan was going to be throwing those balls all up and down the field to Randy Moss? So
because he was the most dangerous man, as Bobby said it. He's a weapon to anybody. I think if, and it's a big if because it didn't happen, but if the New England Patriots would have pulled off that undefeated season, gone down in history with the season that Randy Moss had, this is not a debate at that point. I think all sports enthusiasts, because he kicked it over the ring, I think all sports enthusiasts with common sense would give it to Randy if they went 19-0, did the unthinkable with the season that he had. I think then we give it to Randy Moss, but it didn't happen.
But it wasn't going to happen. I told you this stat before. Every time someone wins the touchdown or the receiving reception for touchdowns in the regular season, they never win the Super Bowl. That happened with Dan Marino in '84 when they won against the 49ers. It happened with Peyton Manning when he broke Marino's touchdown record. And it also happened with Tom Brady when he had
Randy
Moss, which when they played against the Giants. So it wasn't going to happen anyway. It's what if, but it wasn't going to happen.
I mean, but for the helmet catch, which David Tyree will probably himself admit was lucky, but for that, this is a different conversation.
Bobby, you keep saying if grandma had balls, she'd be grandpa. So, I mean.
in 2020, grandma can go buy her some and become grandpa.
Okay,
that is a lot closer than we would have thought prior to 2020. I'm saying we get not to mention is that that was a lucky catch. No qualms about it, right? Lucky catch. Luck is a part of football, but I'm just saying that those who immediately go to rings, separate the two. If you go to that and you really watch that season, man, that was an impressive season.
It was.
Look, even in the last possession, when it was a Hail Mary, everybody, myself included, thought that New England had a chance. Why do we think New England had a chance? Because Randy Moss was on the field. No other reason.
Sure. But you have to remember something. The Giants were undefeated in the playoff run when they were the visiting team. Yep. Okay. New England, statistically, you're not going to go undefeated. The only reason why the 72 Dolphins did it was because it was a shorter season. And it isn't going, we'll never see that again. Not the way the sport is played, not with all of the talent. It's not going to happen. So New England can score. And like I said, statistically, defense wins championships. This is why so many teams that have all these number one offenses never win the Super Bowl.
Right.
You need defense.
All right, so I'm going to hear a few more of these. Y'all tell me why, tell me why Randy Moss is crazy. I want to hear a few of these from the jury. We're gonna hear from the gallery, right? You guys are going to help us make this decision. Because I want to see something. What's the most compelling argument that you have? Because on paper, here's what I think about the paper, right? Jerry Rice was 6'2", Randy Moss was 6'4". I don't care about all of that. I want the eye test. You look at the yak, you got to go toward you're going with Randy Moss. But you would think that Randy Moss has the longest touchdown between the two. No, it's Jerry Rice, a 96-yarder in a playoff game, right? There's all of these nuances that you look at their statistical performance. And it's crazy to see just the output that these two guys put together. Jerry played for 3 teams. Randy Moss played for 5 teams. Look, I don't know if we're gonna be able to decide it today because no one's been able to decide it forever.
I'm not.
They say from
errors.
Not really though. They overlap for a little bit.
But come on now. When did Jerry start? At 84? And I mean, they got him out of Mississippi Valley State. Like, who going to these HBCUs to get talent? That was all Bill Walsh.
And you just brought up another point that both of them came from non-Power 5 schools. Randy Moss got there in an interesting way, but came from Marshall. And Jerry Rice, as you just mentioned, also HBCU. So, all right. If I had to rule in the case of in the case of somebody else putting up stats, we know that on paper, that's my God brother. What's up, God brother? On paper, we know that Jerry looks better. We know that. But sometimes numbers lie. Because Jerry not only had those 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks, not only had a lot more productivity around them with other players being weapons that will open up opportunities for him. But Jerry, I just don't see him making a defensive coordinator not sleep for 2 weeks. When you had to play Randy Moss, you were looking at the game ahead of the current game because you knew that you had to play Randy Moss. All right, Randy Moss was a bad boy.
This is the last thing I'll say in regards to that. I get it, but you have to remember, not only did Jerry Rice have Hall of Fame quarterbacks, he also had Hall of Fame coaches and offensive coordinators.
Absolutely.
Bill Walsh, that West Coast offense, please. He just shitted on my poor Dan Marino, my baby. But it's all good.
All right, so in the case of this, I would say, I don't know if it is probable or excessive. I would say it's at least probable that we could have the conversation about him being the greatest of all times. Keep on coming in with the comments because I can be persuaded. This ain't one of them courts where I can't change my ruling. I'm gonna say it's probable that indeed his statement that he's the greatest of all times is a probable cause statement, and we're gonna move on to at least hear some more facts in this particular case. I will say this: Randy Moss putting Terrell Owens at number 2 was Petty McPetty because he said that I'm the greatest. But now granted, he was on Terrell Owens' podcast when he did it.
I love it.
But he put him at number 2. Come here, young man. We got 2 young jurors in the building. We got 2 young jurors in the building. I gotta undo my thing so they can hear y'all.
Look at Bray. Where's his comb?
Yeah, he got wild man style now. These young boys don't do their hair no more. Come on over here. Print that.
Hey, Bray.
If you can't see yourself here, they can't see you. You gotta see yourself in this window. All right.
Look at T'Challa.
Yeah. All right. In their PJs, y'all, fresh out of their sleep and slumber. In their glow of Christmas Eve. I'm gonna ask them right here in real time. Who was the greatest receiver of all time? Was it Randy Moss or was it Jerry Rice? What do y'all say?
Randy Moss.
You going Randy Moss? Okay. All right. Thank you, young man. Y'all say a Merry Christmas to everybody, man.
Merry Christmas.
All right, guys. Thank y'all. All right.
Oh.
The reason I do that is because I think it is generational. These young boys just don't know how good Jerry Rice was. My man Chris Passard has a series, and I have to agree with him, man. Jerry Rice, in terms of overall productivity, the numbers don't lie. When you look at all the times that he was first team NFL, he had a great career. I'm just saying it's probable that after the discussion, we move on to the next part of the case. So we'll revisit this. But great discussion. I like all of these comments, man. So I appreciate y'all. We are going with more today as we have the Probable Claus edition of the Ball Hog Sports Talk. We'll move into the second quarter, y'all, because I don't think we're going to answer one way or another, but we'll move into the second quarter, and that's small claims. And we got a whole bunch of them. And for these guys, we're just going to go around the horn, talk about some quick topics related to, sports. And I'm not going to judge one way or another, but there's some things that we just need to talk about. And, of course, my notes are all messed up, but I'll find them. I'm going to pull them up now. Seeing my boy Bobby Howard was cool, man. But imagine that. In a town like Rand, West Virginia, you got Bobby Howard, Jason Williams, the NBA star, and Randy Moss, all from some little small – I didn't ask him how many people, but I imagine it's 10 people that live there in Rand, West Virginia. Very small place. How many people live in Rand, West Virginia?
Let me find out.
The odds of that happening is like 1,000,000 to 1 that would happen, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how many people, but it ain't a lot of people live in Rand, West Virginia.
Population 1,600.
Wow. 1,600.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, let me pull this up. 1,600. That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
All right.
1,631 people.
All right. And yet still, he is considered at least one of the greatest of all times. All right. I got to send all my stuff to the next guest who's going to be coming up. I'm doing a lot today, but we're going to rock and roll. Let's see.
It literally is South Central West Virginia.
He wasn't joking with that?
No, it's South Central.
South Central. I was thinking for sure he just made that up. South Central. But I guess not. I guess he did. It is actual South Central. The other part, let's get into small claims because there's a lot of stuff that went on throughout the week. One thing that I posted was about Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley having a few statements and a few comments about Kyrie Irving. I don't know what y'all thought about that. I thought that was interesting. I thought he went out of bounds. I know Kyrie Irving still believes that the earth is flat. But what did you think about that? My guys comment. What's up, Keith Wilkinson in the house talking about Buckeyes? Oh, it's coming. We gonna have a conversation about the college football playoffs, and the Buckeyes are on the clock, as is Notre Dame. We're gonna go on the review here soon, so stick with us. But let's go through these small claims quickly. What do you think about Charles Barkley and his critique of Kyrie Irving?
Kyrie Irving thinks he's deep, and he's not. I don't like Charles Barkley because I just think he's so fat and he needs to sit his fat ass down and he just gets on my nerves. But in this instance, I happen to agree with him. It's just like, Kyrie, just shut up. Like, that fake deep shit is annoying. That's all I got. I get it.
All right. You think it's fake deep. He also kind of poked fun at him recognizing his Native American heritage, which I thought was a little too far. But I'll come back to that. I wasn't feeling Charles on this. He's like, man, like serious, man. Like, you think you're the smartest person in the world. You dribble basketball for a living. To me, it reeked of the same
Laura Ingram, shut up and dribble.
Of the same arrogance, like just because he is a basketball player doesn't mean he can't aim to be the smartest person in the world. Is he failing at that attempt? Probably.
Yes. If you're going to do something, be good at it. Like, see, I'm a jerk, but I'm great at it. So I'm never going to fail that. Like, if someone says something insulting to me, I'm going to talk about your mama. Right. Or your daddy. Can you find them? I've got it. It's just something that is innate. Kyrie Irving is not smart. He's so annoying.
He is. But at the same time, it is what it is, right? Like Kyrie, I think should be aiming to be the smartest person in the world, even if he's not. All right, Fear the Beard. Fear the Beard used to be about his ability, he being James Harden, his ability to wheel and deal and make plays. His ability to step back, his ability to get to the basket and get fouls called. But for some reason, Fear the Beard is now also, Fear the Beard because he's passing COVID around. Yeah. What did you think about his decision this week? He's been a bit non-compliant in his quest to get traded. What did you think about it? Quick.
First of all, he's stupid. If you don't want to be there, we totally get that. But this is a pandemic. And then he's like, they're coming after me for no reason. No one gives a shit where you go if you want to see titties and badissi all in your face. It's a fucking pandemic. Cover your face. And he needs to cut that old nasty ass beard. Who knows what's growing? It's probably got COVID growing in it. Ew, he's so annoying.
Cancel the game, man. Fear the Beard. He wanted to see. He claimed he wasn't at the club, but the picture suggests otherwise. He was at an event
with no mask.
I think no mask. Which, I think because he caught it already. He thinks that he's immune. Fran Belibi, who is a Stanford sophomore, is dunking the basketball, y'all. She is a female who plays for Stanford. She's a sophomore. She has had not one, but two in-game dunks this year. I think it's a big move for women that. Not only are they dunking, but they're dunking in the game. This young lady is a bad you-know-what. So I'm looking forward to watching her play. The fact that she chose Stanford over Notre Dame broke my heart, but I love seeing her dunk the basketball. You got Charlie Woods, who is young Tiger Woods. He is balling, y'all. I mean, this young brother looks just like his daddy. I don't know if you saw it, but like father, like son, his swing is immaculate. The way his gait when he's going through the course looked immaculate. And I'll say this, there was much made about the irreconcilable differences that Tiger and his wife had. I love seeing him still remain a dad and doing a great job at it. So kudos to that, man. As a dad of two boys, shout out, Tiger, man. You're doing a good job. And, you know, even if it's just working on their swing, they're spending time together. And you can tell because young Charlie got that swing, man.
Nobody cares. The black delegation does not care.
Lionel Messi, it was reported that he should not be in the top 3 this year. We've thought of him as the best player on earth for a long time, and now they're saying he's not even in the top 3. Although he scored a lot of goals, I guess it has been reported that his skills are diminishing. It's the most popular sport in the world. Do you have an opinion one way or another? Lionel Messi? No. All right.
I don't care. Maldonado died. Like, I ain't think about these other people.
Yeah. Great. Jerry West was sued by a friend of Kawhi, saying that he was promised some kickbacks for getting Kawhi to sign with the Clippers. I don't know if you read that story or not. It sounded real messy. It's like, man, you promised you were going to give me some bread, and you didn't give me the bread. It wasn't a ton of money. I think like $2 million. Wasn't a ton of money. But for some reason, he thinks that he's owed. And this is just a very interesting saga of all the layers it takes to get a free agent player. All the things you got to do to woo a player in. Just know that you know it could come back to bite you. I think they should have paid the friend and just been done with it. But for some reason,
I blame the friend. You should have got your money first. I'm like, no Kawhi, no cash. We got to work something out here. That's on you. Your negotiation skills are whack. You should have had some street justice. Got your money.
They are recognizing the 7th female full-time ref, and I will be happy when these stories are not a story because it shouldn't be a story. If you know how to adhere to the guidelines of the rule book, then you should be a ref. All right. Halftime report is brought to you by Excessive Celebration. Much more than a party. We turn your event into an experience. And so make sure that you guys check out the next event, which will be post-COVID. And we're going to keep it right. On the other hand, on the backside of it, third quarter, because we're going to get into another quick round of small claims court. And I bring this up because I think from a timely standpoint, it makes sense to talk about it here. Especially with Excessive Celebration having been the halftime report sponsor. My man, Juju Schuster-Smith, he likes to dance on people's logos. And I don't know if you saw what he paid the price for dancing on the Bengals logo. They knocked him in the Christmas of next year when he tried to catch up.
Every team has danced on the Bengals logo. They haven't been shit since what? Paul Brown was running the squad.
You think that's a big deal? I want to hear from the audience too. Do y'all think that's a big deal? Is that a sign of disrespect when you dance on somebody's logo? I see my dog Kareem White was in here earlier. But
they don't win, so who cares?
We did that in high school. We danced on somebody's logo, and they proceeded to beat the bone out of us because they was a better team. But we wanted them to know that was Peter Warwick's team, Brady the Southeast. That was a loaded team. But we wanted them to know. Me and my dog was dancing. We wanted them to know that we ain't scared. So we gonna be here. When you look up, we gonna be here ready to fight. But unfortunately, we got the wrong end of it, and so did Juju Schuster-Smith. I don't think it's a big deal. If you don't want them dancing on the logo, fine. All right, do what the Bengals did. They knocked that man in the next week. I see some people saying it's disrespectful.
When T.O. did it against the Cowboys when he was a Niner, that was awesome. Oh man, I can't stand either team, but baby, he spun that damn football right on that star. That shit was fire.
Hey, I'll tell you what, and everybody has wanted to dance on that star and show Jerry World just how we feel. But somebody pulled it off. Somebody fought.
I love that.
And it was amazing to see that he pulled it off. Yeah, he too paid for it with a blindside hit. Let me get some other ones. Throw me some other ones. Let me see some other ones from small claims. Prince Amukamara. He started delivering in DoorDash because he was bored. And to be young, To be young with a whole pocket full of money and be bored again, boy, I would love to do that. But Prince Amukamara, who is a cornerback for the Arizona Cardinals, started delivering for DoorDash. He and his sister, he created a competition to see who could get the most deliveries. And instead of just putting the money in his pocket or going to one of the facilities that James Harden seems to like to go to, he put the money into his nonprofit organization, which I think is pretty cool.
That's sweet.
Shout out to him. Yeah, shout out to him. All right, let me see some other ones from Quick Claim. The judge is hearing all of these quick claims. Josh Gordon, oh my gosh, man, that brother, man, yet again, he was reinstated only maybe 2 weeks ago and has failed the substance abuse policy again. It looks like this is a nail in his coffin. It looks like his career is over, and I hope he gets the help that he needs. I don't want to make light of it at all. I think it's a sad situation. That brother needs somebody to put an arm around him and help him with his substance abuse problem. So we're wishing Josh Gordon the absolute best while he tries to get his life back together.
Isn't he a wide receiver? He used to play for the Browns, right?
He used to play for the Browns, yes, and he's played for Seattle. He played for New England. Everywhere he goes, he's effective. But the problem is he's had, I don't even know the number of run-ins he's had with the substance abuse policy, but it's been a lot of them. And you just can't do that. Simple and plain, trying to get this thing here. Yeah, simple and plain, you just can't, you can't do it, you know.
He said Dez Bryant back in the end zone. I don't even watch the NFL.
Dez Bryant is back in the end zone after several bouts of injuries. After 3 years, I think it's the longest ever gap between touchdowns. After 3 years of not playing, to see him in the end zone was nothing, short of cool, man. And he put up the X again. He's playing for the Ravens. I think that the Ravens, unfortunately, y'all not gonna make it in, dog, because you got the Cleveland Browns. We might win the division, so who cares if you make it as a wild card? But Dez Bryant making it in is pretty cool. All right, we have any more? Still trying to send this link. Marvin Lewis. We talk about the lack of black coaches. We talk about white boys that are failing up and somehow, some way, keep on getting jobs. Marvin Lewis is one for the black folks.
He's
man.
an outlier.
He's an outlier.
He is an outlier. He is the one. It was on the thread this week, and I politely said, I don't know anybody else. I don't know if it's because he's incredibly nice or they're going based off of his record with the Ravens back in 2000 when they had like that defense that was just out of control and they stomped the Giants in the Super Bowl. But that was 20 years ago. He's a great guy, but he's not a good coach. You have such a large pool of so many talented coaches that need an opportunity. The NFL, I swear, if we based recycling on the NFL, we wouldn't have any problems with pollution or anything. The NFL recycles the same old fucking people every time. Win, lose, terrible. They keep the same people. I don't understand it.
Yeah. I see. Let me get through a few more of these because they're supposed to be quick and I'm moving too slow. Sorry. Bills may let fans in the stadium. I already know your response will be to that. Buffalo Bills. They finally have a good season. I don't see why they want to do it because you had to go back a long time, back to a certain day where they won when they lost a whole bunch of Super Bowls when it was relevant. So I understand why they want to do that. What else? COVID promotion at Super Bowl. They're promoting people to get the vaccination, to get the vaccine, and adhere to getting vaccination requirements. So we'll see if that plays out. Interesting time to do it, but I think the NFL understands that they got a platform, so they have to use it. Anything else in the quick claims court? If not, we can move on to the fourth quarter. And for the fourth quarter, the college football playoffs, before we get started, and this is the other part of the halftime entertainment that we were supposed to have, but my technology was all off. I had a moment where I had to eat a little crow this week, y'all. And after the game, where Notre Dame got dismantled by Clemson, I get a FaceTime call from a dog. The missing link from last week, Raheem Abdullah, he calls me. Now, he can't just call me on a voice. He got to call FaceTime. So he want to see the pain in my life. But because I'm a man of my word, I made sure I answered that FaceTime. And he asked me, he called afterwards. He's like, make sure you have me on the show this week, dog. And I ain't running from it. I got to run towards it. So with no further ado, let's welcome into the Ball Hog Sports Talk yet again from the, I'm going to be respectful today because they whooped us good enough, from the Clemson University, the school that whooped Notre Dame. We are going to welcome in none other than my man, Raheem Abdullah. What's up, Raheem?
What's happening, man? What's happening? Hey, correction. It is the University of Clemson.
The University of Clemson.
Yeah.
I said, you know what? Look, I ain't got what I can't say nothing tough, bro. Ain't nothing tough I can say, man. I'll let you start. What happened in the game, man? Before we get to the
first off, I want y'all to know my new name is Negro Damas. Because
you ain't
predicted this. And I told you, but it's not a real prediction. But yeah, we beat the brakes off of y'all as usual. Like I said, Trevor Price will lead his college career with only losing one game as a starter.
Trevor Price and Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence. I played with Trevor Price. I'm having a football moment. Trevor Lawrence will leave his college career with only losing one game. You seen that? You seen it, Bobby? You know that. And the young lady over here, I respect the fact that you're not saying not that.
But look, here's what I'll say to you. Y'all whooped us, so I can't talk tough.
Beat the brakes.
All right, man. What you want me to do? I can't change.
Bobby, don't let up. You die on your sword. Still talk shit.
Look, we got another shot.
Go down.
We got another shot.
Honestly, I think y'all gonna play. I think y'all will play Alabama a lot better than y'all played us. But the problem that y'all gonna have is we gave Alabama the blueprint on how to beat y'all.
Yeah, but Alabama's quarterback, while a very good quarterback, while a Heisman finalist, is not Trevor Lawrence.
Oh no, there is no Trevor Lawrence.
Here you go,
and
man.
there won't never be another Trevor Lawrence until Big C goes step up next year.
You think now you made the statement that he's probably one of the best we've ever seen, and despite the whooping that we took, I'm gonna give you an opportunity to explain that. Do you think he's one of the best we've ever seen? Because he's the shoe-in first pick, right? And the Jets did what the Jets do. They messed up their first pick by winning.
He coming to Jacksonville.
He coming to Duval. So you winning. Because not only did the Clemson whoop us, it looks like, for all intents and purposes, Jacksonville is going to get Trevor Lawrence.
Yes.
Why do you think he's so good? What makes him a different level quarterback compared to others that you've seen in the past?
Honestly, I think he's the coach's son. And I think the way his father raised him, he raised him to expect to be the best and always do your best. Not just go out there and hope you win. Like Nick Saban, and I'm not an Alabama fan at all, but Nick Saban, when he won a national championship a couple of years ago, the people said, well, how do you feel, coach? He was like, what do you mean? I knew I was going to win. I came in expecting to win, right?
Yeah.
I think Trevor Lawrence has that same type of attitude. He goes in and he expects to win.
Right. Okay. Well, we'll go. This will be a good way to transition because you mentioned Nick Saban. We're talking about Trevor Lawrence. But so those two teams have no question marks around them.
No, zero.
Did the college football player, and this is where it look. I'll ask you guys as we do every week. Please like, please comment, please share. I ask you at this moment to tag the person that you've heard all week complaining about the college football playoff committee. Tag the person that you have heard say Notre Dame shouldn't be there because all it is about the money. Tag the person that has said Ohio State shouldn't have been considered because they didn't play enough games. Tag the person right now because, look, y'all, it's one thing to have these little comments in isolated spaces. I want y'all to convince the judge. This is Probable Claus Day. Here I am in my Santa Claus attire. You see the suspenders. You see the hat. I even got the gavel. Yeah, it's a hood gavel. It's just a hammer.
What the hell is that? That's a murder weapon. What the fuck, Bob?
It's a gavel presiding. All right. Convince me that the college football playoffs got it wrong. Are those people that are the naysayers now? Are they showing probable cause for why Notre Dame didn't belong, why Ohio State didn't belong? Are they just being excessive? Are they going too far? I'll give you the first shot at it. Let's stick with Notre Dame first. Did Notre Dame belong to be in the Final Four? What do you say, Raheem?
No, not even close. That 24-point whooping we put on them, that's just the beginning. But who else would be in there?
That's okay.
That's the problem. That's where you run into the problem. Like, okay, if you take Notre Dame out, who do you put in? Cincinnati?
I want to hear that. I want to hear the answer. I want to hear the answer to that question. Who do you put in if you don't put Notre Dame in? So I want to hear. Texas A&M got beat by Alabama by 28 points. It was a wider spread.
See, but you can't use that argument, Bobby, because we beat y'all, but we beat y'all. We were beating y'all by 30 points.
I don't care what y'all beat us by. We still had to score against that defense, and Dabo was not letting up. That was clear. He wanted to make a point.
No, he took his foot off. See, that's another thing I don't like about Dabo. He took his foot off y'all throat because he threw Ocho Big Cinco in there, and I'm never going to take anything from Big Cinco because he threw y'all.
If taking the foot off the gas means taking one number one pick in the first round out of the game, putting another first round pick in the game, that ain't much for taking the foot off the gas. That's why I tell people that's the difference between you talk about Cincinnati. We talk about, somebody told me that somebody had the nerve to say San Jose State. It's a different league. That's not even in
the same.
Like how do you
Hawaii, a couple of years back, remember Hawaii was undefeated and they played Florida in a major bowl game because they were saying Hawaii should be in there. And I think Florida beat them by like 40 or 50 points.
It's just a different league because even the backups are NFL players.
Right.
You got real talent across the board. And that's where I think you look at the difference between Notre Dame and Clemson, Notre Dame and Alabama, is that we're getting there where we have some great starters. But if something goes wrong, if somebody tweaks their ankle, or it's just not across the board. And Clemson has that. So you say Notre Dame shouldn't have been in there. How about Ohio State? What do you say about Ohio State? Did they
listen, and I said this last time we spoke. Ohio State, whoever plays our Ohio State, thankfully it's us. It's going to be a warm-up game. We're going to beat Ohio State by 30, right? And 30. It's like playing Oklahoma. We always beat them. We always beat Ohio State. We're going to beat them by 30. And then I think Notre Dame and Alabama is going to be a decent game. I think Alabama's going to pull it off and win. And then once again, it's going to be Alabama and Clemson in the national championship. We'll beat them by 17, Negro dominant speaking. And national champions, once again, I'll be at the parade. Matter of fact, I'm going to FaceTime you at the parade.
If you ain't gonna have no mask, I don't want you FaceTime with me. I don't want to catch nothing through the phone. But however,
you ain't got to wear no mask down there.
You gotta wear one in South Carolina. That shows y'all backwards down there. Look, man. All right, so Maya.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna open it up to the jury. Matter of fact, I'll stop here and just to say for our audience members, please like, please comment, please share, and please weigh in. If not Notre Dame, then who? If not Ohio State, then who? Because you only get 4 people. The same people that are telling me, right, that Notre Dame and Ohio State don't belong are saying that they should expand the playoff picture. So it's not making sense to me, right? Because the committee had to come up with 4 teams. And so in this particular year, right, I think they got it right. Ohio State was the one that was the weakest case to be made because they only played 6 games, and I would have understood.
But they're the biggest money draw. You have to put teams in that people are going to watch. It's a vested interest.
True.
You have to have people who are going to watch. That alumni base is huge. Notre Dame's alumni base is huge. Don't know anything about Clemson. Alabama's is huge. So you have to get the money draw. Ohio State is a money draw.
Clemson draw more than all of them combined.
What y'all drinking down there? Because I need a shipment to New Jersey.
You know what I think? See, and this is a beautiful thing. This is a beautiful thing. I think Texas A&M only college that really has a legit Texas A&M and maybe Cincinnati. But like I said, Cincinnati, the level of play that Cincinnati plays against is not the same as any of those other schools.
Yeah, but not at all. Not at all, right? And hold on, I got a battery issue. Oh, I can't believe
Even though, like, for example,
Y'all stay
Michigan
there. Y'all stay there. Keep the conversation going. I
is
got a battery.
trash.
I made a
You-
mistake. I didn't have my battery.
What
I know. Hey, Bray. Y'all hold on. I mean,
you know what, Bobby? I was
I think he just muted me too. Can you hear me? I'm muted. I can't hear anything.
I'm unmuted now. Can you
hear me? I can hear you now.
Yeah.
You know what I think? I think that all y'all
Who is y'all?
Alabama and Irish fans.
Okay.
I think all of y'all are like a little child who watched their father and his father pick him up with one arm. You say, "Ooh, my daddy's the strongest person in the world," and then they see the daddy get their ass whooped and say, "My daddy ain't shit." Right?
Well, how about this? Let's look at the employment rates of Notre Dame versus Clemson and the starting
Our
salary.
employment rates are way higher than you guys.
What, in the state of South Carolina?
In America. Like, are you?
Oh.
Is that it? Like, are you serious?
Are you serious?
Did you
Bobby,
not notice that?
Bobby, I need you to do some research besides getting the battery.
I know.
I just said that to your friend that Notre Dame, if you stack them up against Clemson, their starting salaries, dominance. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, look.
He said they lead the economy.
I know. Look,
no, this is sports, business, and entertainment. Business is money. Okay,
what did you say first? What did you say first?
So what?
That's all I'm saying.
Hey, look. I'm not even going to be one of those people that takes the argument there because we could take it there, but I think that Notre Dame fans, we fall into that far too often. I want to stick with this.
I know. What he said, Bobby, what he said was that Alabama and Irish fans are the little kids that the father picks up and you say, "Oh, my dad, go great. My dad's so great." But then you see your daddy get his ass whooped and you, "Oh, my daddy ain't shit." Come on.
I would say this, but listen, hold on. That's fine. He says it while wearing all Clemson orange. I ain't mad at him having that feeling. I just need to know that because there's a lot of people on here that have very sensible sports outlooks. They make some great points. I haven't heard anyone give me probable cause for why Notre Dame shouldn't be there. The only probable cause that people have shown about Ohio State why they shouldn't be there is that they've had a limited body of work, but at the same time, that's not their fault. The Big Ten is
look at the teams that they played during that limited body of work. What is the win-loss record on those teams that they played? What was Northwestern record? And
Northwestern had 2 losses, I think.
2 losses, okay. Yeah. What was the other teams that they played? You know what I'm saying? I think they played.
That's not their, but that ain't their fault though. At the end of the day, that's the conference.
It ain't Cincinnati's fault. Cincinnati won out. And they played 10 games and they're the champs.
I think that if the College Football Committee really wanted to get it right and the Big Ten wanted to have somebody in the Final Four, what they should have done is, because Cincinnati needed one more game, Ohio State needed one more game, cancel whoever Cincinnati was supposed to play, have them play each other. Now you got Ohio State playing an undefeated team before they go and play the conference championship. Because the people that are making the argument about Ohio State, it's about their limited body of work, and they didn't play anybody. And they got a point. And the people that they did play, they weren't overwhelmingly impressive, even against Northwestern.
I agree with what Maya said, and it's about money. Period.
But shouldn't it be? I agree that it is about money too. So people that have said the only reason they chose Ohio State and Notre Dame is because about the money, duh. Look, they didn't get no money with March Madness. They didn't get the normal income stream because college football has been watered down significantly with COVID. At the end of the day, here's your opportunity to make the money. Why would you go out on a limb and bring in a team like Cincinnati that I don't think their body of work is much more impressive than Ohio State? I don't think it even compares to Notre Dame. Why would you bring them in knowing that they're not going to be a draw, and I don't think they earned it? Go ahead, Maya.
Notre Dame should be there. They've earned it. But like I said at the beginning of the season, college football shouldn't have been played this year. Period.
Yeah,
I'm
never going to go that way.
Excuse me?
Listen, Anthony, you got somebody named Anthony Denman?
Yeah,
he played for the Irish. He's an Irish linebacker.
Clearly, he's smoking some crack or something back in the back. He said
Anthony
Ohio State owns Clemson. You might want to check the record. You might want to check the record on that, Anthony. We own y'all. And the last time we played y'all, we beat y'all. And the time before that, we stumped y'all. And this time, we're going to stump them again.
I think the record now is tied. We were winning 3-2. Now it's 3-3. But look. But it went back to 1970. It was a long time ago.
1977. Now we beating y'all. We were up by 3. We was up 3-2. We outside 3-3. Now we up 4-3.
I'm fine with that. And in recent history, look, you guys have beat us 2-1 under these particular eras. Well, really 3-1, because y'all beat us in the Bring Your Own Guts game. You beat us in the Cotton Bowl. You beat us last week, and then we beat you in the regular season this year. So I'm fine with that. To
Maya's point, though, Maya, reason why I say that they should have played this year, because if the cure is worse than the disease, right? If you take out, and you think, because you already brought it up, this is a business show, and this is about
and you don't have to quote me. I know what I said.
No disrespect. But what I'm saying is, if you not let these young guys play, right? So say this happened last year, Joe Burrows would have lost millions of dollars.
Okay.
Millions, right? And not only that, every year there is a group of kids who go out and have an outstanding senior year or a junior year, and they make themselves $1 million, which is life-altering, generational altering money. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So now you rob the children of making a future for their children.
Oh, okay. And you rob the children of potential of losing their lives by contracting COVID.
How many young, healthy athletes died from COVID?
Well, no. Hold on now. Look, I think that they should have played. Exactly. And Maya and I disagree. But the kid from Florida, Keontae Johnson, who collapsed, the basketball player, they are linking that to COVID. Now, I agree with you that they should have played, but there is some health concerns there that say it could be a long-lasting impact of having had it and not.
If I jump out the window, a 100-story building, and on the 70th floor, I cough and somebody here, and I hit the ground, they're gonna say he died of COVID. No, the 100-story drop didn't kill me.
Well, you know what? You said they don't even wear masks. So I know where your thought process is. There is no thought process.
I said in South Carolina they don't wear masks. I don't.
I said South Carolina.
Let's get back to the college football playoffs, because I want to make sure that we finalize this and we come up with a ruling whether or not people the detractors that say that Notre Dame and Ohio State don't belong there, whether or not they have shown probable cause or not, and that is the question. Because I'm looking at a lot of the comments and I don't see anybody that suggested a school that could replace Ohio State or a school that could replace Notre Dame. And we are two things: going to have good quality football played in the playoffs. And yeah, there are going to be some coins, some dollars, some pennies, some dividends made from having that team there. I'm looking at all of these comments. I don't see a single school that's been suggested as a good replacement. And that says to me that there ain't nobody else. Cincinnati to me doesn't make sense. I'm sorry.
Texas A&M is the only person who has a legitimate gripe. I wouldn't put a 2-loss team in, period. I don't believe that.
I saw somebody says Coastal Carolina.
Coastal Carolina is a warm-up game, and that is they worse than Ohio State. So
yeah, you can't put Coastal Carolina out there. Look, and I love the story. Coastal Carolina was picked to be last in their conference this year. They've done some great things. I love the fact that they took that game on, for BYU after a 2-day notice. But that helps the team, the unknown. When you play a game with only 2 days notice, that helps the unknown, right? The reason that Dabo keeps putting a pause on Brian Kelly is because he's got time to prepare. The reason that we haven't had a chance to do anything against Nick Saban in Alabama is because every time we play him, he's got a chance to prepare. So the lack of time to prepare helps Coastal Carolina. I love their story, but you can't put them on the field with no Alabama. Are you serious? They would be the 4th seed, and you put them on the field with Alabama. The same people that are complaining that Notre Dame keeps getting beat by Alabama and Clemson of the world. Notre Dame's getting beat with 3, 4, 5-star players on their team. Coastal Carolina, nah, man, that ain't fair. You think COVID bad? You put them boys out there with Alabama if you want to. That's not going to happen. I think people get into the sensational stories of these small programs and how they need a chance. A chance to do what? Get killed?
Well, they like a lot of movies. They want to see that Cinderella story. You know, people think this is a movie. This ain't movies. This is football.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That works, you know what I'm saying? The Rudy thing. Yeah, Rudy, which is not even true. But
aren't you jumping off a 100-foot tall building or something?
Yeah.
No. That's not what I said. I said if someone jumped out of a 100-story building.
All right, so look. I don't see too many of these comments that have given. I don't see too many people that have given me any. People said Texas A&M. Texas A&M got beat worse by Alabama than we got beat by Clemson. And at the end of the day,
Texas A&M body of work, they beat Florida.
That's it.
You know, and then supposedly they play in one of the top conferences, which is the SEC.
You look at the teams that they played in the SEC this year. They played the right half of the SEC. They almost got beat by Tennessee in the last game. If you say the recency bias that the last game matters, it outweighs those other games. Yes, they put out a victory, but a very terrible 3-win Tennessee team had Texas A&M on the ropes, but for a young freshman quarterback, they should have won the game.
Ohio State the same way then. Ohio State is the same.
Northwestern was a much better team than Tennessee. Much better.
It was a dog. Who did Northwestern beat? I got one better. Who did they lose to? Who are those two?
Northwestern had a good season. I think Northwestern beat Wisconsin. I don't have Northwestern's record right in front of me, but they had a good season. Northwestern had a good season. Pat Fitzgerald does a good job with that team. They bring out a good team. Now, having said that, it's not on the same. I don't think it's on the same caliber as most of the SEC schools. Texas A&M got lucky. They got lucky this year because they played the right teams in SEC right time. And they beat Florida, which was a great win. But let's also be honest. Like that is now a 3-loss Florida team.
For real, they got 3 losses. They lost to a garbage LSU team who out there playing nothing but freshmen. Florida lost that game, and I'm a diehard Florida Gator fan, and we lost that one there. So I was disgusted. Matter of fact, I knew once we lost that, we didn't have a chance. Even if we would beat Alabama, we still wouldn't have got into the playoffs because we're a 2-loss team. We lost to LSU, and Texas A&M.
Look, I didn't think they belonged at all. There's the strength of schedule argument. Texas A&M, I don't think their strength of schedule is stronger than Notre Dame's. I had all of that, but we're going a little deep in the show, man. So I gotta start rounding it out. I want to know, y'all, because Judge, the sports courthouse judge, B. Brown ESQ, has to make a ruling. I don't see anything that's very compelling. I wanted to hear something. I wanted people to walk me off of this belief that they got it right. The College Football Playoff Committee, while they have been very imperfect in all that they've done, I think that this year they got it right. I don't know that you could put another team out there. While Ohio State's body of work was not extensive enough to compare to some of the other teams, I think it's a better program. My eyes don't lie to me. When I see Justin Fields out there, I see someone that's going to present at least a matchup issue for Clemson that they've got a game plan for. Will they beat Clemson? I don't believe that. I think Clemson wins. I don't know about 30, as you say, but I think Clemson wins. But Justin Fields belongs on the field. Pardon the alliteration. He belongs on the same field with Clemson. I don't know that Coastal Carolina has a single player that belongs on the field with the Alabama or a Clemson, right? Texas A&M, they got the talent, but I don't. Then it goes to the body of work. What have they done?
I think they got 3 out of 4 right. And I hate to say this, but I think Notre Dame. I wouldn't have put Notre Dame in, but you got to go back to saying who else would you put in besides Notre Dame? Ohio State, I would never. They wouldn't have got in on my book. I think we should have replaced them with Texas A&M. So it should have been Clemson. I mean, it should have been Alabama, Clemson, Notre Dame, Texas A&M. Ohio State should not have got in. They didn't play enough games. All they did was start making different rules so Ohio State can get in. They disobeyed all their rules, and they let Ohio State in.
You get the last word. Here's the gavel. I am saying that when it comes to the detractors, yes, a nice little hammer. When it comes to the detractors, when it comes to the naysayers, when it comes to the people that say Notre Dame doesn't belong, when it comes to the people that says Ohio State doesn't belong, I'm going to say in the case of Notre Dame, and I am biased, but hey, you get to be biased on the court, right? When you wear that robe. I don't think that they made the case. No probable cause for why Notre Dame shouldn't be there. They're excessive. When it comes to Ohio State, you got a point. There's only 6 games, but I'm still deciding. I'm still deciding if it's probable or excessive when it comes to Ohio State because I'll say probable, but I still haven't heard what team will replace them. I haven't heard what team will replace them. All right, y'all. Texas A&M over Ohio State, and my eyes don't show me that. It doesn't show me Texas A&M.
Watching no A&M game. People watching Ohio State games. They got them because of their bank account.
And I ain't mad at that because it comes down to the money. This is the Ball Hog Sports Talk where sports, business, and entertainment collide. We had our missing link who is back. I let him stay throughout the whole segment because he's donned in his Clemson orange. I got to eat humility pie because I said Notre Dame was going to win. It didn't happen. My man, Raheem Abdullah, Duval's finest, is in the building. We have our Maverick, Miss Majestic Maya. It's been a great show, y'all. Probable Claus. Y'all enjoy. Merry Christmas. Enjoy everything that is special about Christmas, family, and being with the people that you consider loved ones. Be safe. Wear your mask. If you didn't get the PS5, get over it because Texas A&M didn't get in the playoffs. So just get over it. All right, y'all. Y'all make sure y'all tune in next week. Please like, please comment, please share. This has been our show. We out. Merry Christmas. Merry
Go Tigers.
I don't want to hear that. Go Irish.
Irish.
Yeah, y'all be good. Peace.